Headhunted to Another World, From Salaryman to Big Four, is another isekai available on Crunchyroll. Our protagonist, Ochimura Denosuke, is a Japanese salaryman who is heavily underappreciated by the company that he works for. So the company sends him overseas. Labor conditions are not exactly the best, but he managed to pull through. As soon as he gets results, he is immediately shipped to another country. That instability coupled with lack of appreciation makes him question if he should be working for this company or not. Not long after that, he gets hit by an old lady on a scooter, and that somehow sends him flying away. Now, it's not like he died or anything. Mid-air, he gets teleported to another world. That made it rather obvious that a lot of this show is comedy. He was summoned by the Demon Lord as one of the 4 generals on the Demon Lord's army, aptly named Glorious 4 Elite Generals of the Demon Army. At which point, the Demon Lord does its best to convince our protagonist to stay and help. Denosuke doesn't get any special powers, which makes the other 3 generals question the Demon Lord's decision. The Demon Lord, in turn, explained that he doesn't want Denosuke for his fighting prowess, he wants him for his negotiation abilities instead. Subverting isekai tropes seems to be where this anime sets itself apart. To try and appease the generals, the Demon Lord sets up a test for Denosuke. I don't intend to spoil the test, but if you watched an isekai before, you know that it goes well. But it goes well in an interesting way. From then on, Denosuke basically becomes a diplomat for this country, which was not what I was expecting when I heard Demon Army and Elite Four. I expected a lot more fighting or strategical decision-making. This show seems to be, for the most part, an anthropological study of the various species that exist in this world. It does manage to derive a good amount of comedy out of that somehow. One example would be that demons are really proud of their bodies. The more built you are as a demon, the larger your magical power. So, demons, both male and female, are mostly scantily clad because they want to show off their body and also their magical power. As you might imagine, that causes a lot of misunderstandings. Now, is that an excuse by the author to have scantily clad people in a show? Probably. But it's also funny. So far, the show has only set up one romantic interest for the main character. It did throw another woman at him, but he was not into that, which is surprising. Point being, it's still early days, but it doesn't seem like a harem anime. I might be wrong on that though. It's kind of hard to tell. So far, I would say that his alignment is lawful good. This is a comedy show about diplomacy, so animation is not great, but I don't think it needs to be. The intro for this show is rather odd. Have you ever asked the question, what if a boy band sang a sea shanty? If you have, watch the intro to get an answer. Outside of that, music is entirely forgettable. Surprisingly, there is a reasonable amount of character development, and I would say world development as well. I'm genuinely surprised at this show and how good it is at portraying interpersonal relationships, as well as relationships between different cultures, corporations, and systems of governance. I would say that this is not a power fantasy in the slightest. So, should you watch this? If you like diplomacy and you would like to have an anthropological look at an isekai world, then yes, you should probably watch it. If you like the idea of comedy derived from the difference between different species and cultures, then yes. On the other hand, if all of that sounds boring as hell to you, then probably not.